It's Dimps. I'm going to rank all 41 games I beat in 2025. There are recent games, games from many years ago, games I've played multiple times. Some quick criteria: I had to at least get to the credits of a beatable game. This does not mean I experienced everything. And for online games, I had to play enough to understand the general gameplay loop. These will be brief thoughts on each game as to not bloat this video. I will not be spoiling anything with my words or through the visuals, so no need to peek between your fingers or plug your ears. The rankings are based on how I felt about my playthrough in the moment, not a "this game is better than this game" ranking. With all that being said, let's begin. 41. Deliver at all costs. This is one of the most perplexing games I've played. Tonally, it jumps from self-aware farce to taking itself quite seriously, to wacky hijinks, and back to genuine drama. And although I admit it is fun to mindlessly drive around destroying everything, there isn't any challenge to this game. Failing a mission doesn't make you retry it from the beginning. It will pick up exactly where you failed, and the fail conditions completely reset. So there isn't a real way to lose. So I guess I don't know who this game is for. I could genuinely talk about it for hours, but I'm already over time. 40. Marvel Rivals. I don't like hero shooters or online multiplayer games in general, and I'm pretty burnt out on Marvel. This game did nothing to change any of that for me. 39. Robotech Battlecry. I made a whole video on this game already, but in short, some decent levels, but gets repetitive and drags. Jet Fighter mode is cool though. 38. Mafia 2. It plays well, the actors are engaging, even if the plot is a bit formulaic as far as mobster stories go, but I feel this game begrudgingly was an open world game, because it doesn't really want you to explore it, and you have to drive to and from every mission without anything in your way. I suppose some people may call that immersion, but I call it a waste of gameplay. 37. Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. I like the change in formula for the Kirby series, as this one is more interconnected maps. You don't go from level 1 to 2 to 3, but you can go from 1 to 7 to 4. That's neat. Unfortunately, I have a terrible sense of direction. And if you don't find the map, you can end up going through these one-way doors that force you to retrace entire pathways to get back to where you were. Thank God for the rewind feature on the Switch. 36. Final Fantasy II. I didn't hate this game as much as everyone appears to. On paper, I like that you can make your party proficient in everything, but I ended up becoming insanely overpowered, even early on. The dungeons are incredibly long and have these constant joke trap rooms, which starts to discourage exploration. The fourth party member changes and they tend to be dead weight. And the last dungeon goes on way too long. Playing the Pixel Remaster helps mitigate some of the tediousness, but this is definitely the weakest in the series. 35. Blood Omen 2. Hey, another game I've covered. Lots of cool art design and voice acting, but the gameplay isn't super deep, and it has a bit of that 2000s jank. 34. Fear. I remember seeing the trailer to this game as a kid and thinking it was going to be the scariest game ever. Turns out, nope. It's mostly shooting the same enemies with the same 4 or 5 guns through industrial buildings. The scares that did happen I often missed because I was looking in the wrong direction. I would hear spooky music and try to find the scary thing, only to catch a glimpse of a ghost girl walking away like Bigfoot. I will say the computer AI is still impressive as they use tactics that aren't getting into a Congo line to be shot. 33. Castlevania Circle of the Moon. I may be a bit spoiled by modern Metroidvanias to truly enjoy this GBA game. I wasn't crazy about the card system, although it gives you powerful moves or cool effects, grinding for them is a bit tedious, and will probably require a guide. I appreciate you can unlock playthroughs with different stats, and the bosses still look pretty badass. Glad I played it to understand some Castlevania history, but not one I'll go back to. 32. Urban Flow. I might have this too low. I weirdly devoured this game about directing traffic, getting perfect 3-star ratings on every level. It's very simple, almost mobile game-like. And that's not to sound diminishing. It has that addictiveness where it was hypnotic, moving the traffic fluidly. I did ruin it for myself near the end though. You see, the traffic light turns green automatically if you leave them on red too long, which is good. It makes you balance your flow. But I found that you can very quickly go green-red, which resets the timer and trivializes all the levels. Still weirdly fun, and the endless mode makes for a nice cozy experience. Plus, it makes me nostalgic for road rage on I-95. 31. I Am Setsuna. I was told to play this game because apparently it was Chrono Trigger inspired, and I guess? There are team moves, but that's roughly where the comparison ends. I probably put 20-something hours into the game, but struggle to remember much about it, except that everything is snow and there's a single piano for the entire soundtrack. You get 6 or 7 characters, but I basically ran the same 3 the entire time. It's pretty basic, but worth a look if you need a simple JRPG. 30. Friends vs. Friends. As I said, I'm not really into online shooters, but I highly recommend if you do as the title says and play with friends. It's a deathmatch shooter where you make a deck which gives you weapons, powers, or debuffs to your opponents. But playing against randoms online will get you steamrolled, as they have all their cards maxed out, making it near impossible to compete. But I had some good times playing against my friends who were all the same level, and the music and character design at least makes it feel like it's going to be less sweaty. 29. Super Mario Sunshine. I have no nostalgia for this game. I first played it just a few years ago with Joy-Con drift, and that tainted the experience. So I wanted to replay it with a functioning controller. And you know what? Still don't enjoy it that much. Okay, the music is great, and I think there are some real mission highlights, like the Manta Storm Shine. I also genuinely enjoy the floodless platforming levels. And I think people over-exaggerate how tough the Sandbird, or Roller Coaster, or Lily Pad levels are. I like all of that. But design-wise, I enjoy the movement options more in previous and later games. I don't like that you have to go in shine order and can't explore and get things out of sequence. It's also weird to me that the first 2 levels repeat boss fights and have 2 sets of red coin missions as if they ran out of ideas so quickly. And yes, it does open up after that. But I know people love this game, so I'll give them this. Delfino Plaza is the best Mario hub. 28. Persona 5 Tactica. Probably the easiest tactics game I've ever played. Pretty quickly you become a god and are absolutely untouchable. But it still has that Persona flair that's enjoyable. The story has its moments, especially if you allow yourself to be emotionally open, but this game is strictly for fans of Persona 5, because the game expects you to know all the lore and rules of its universe. And if you don't, enjoy eating butt. 27. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. I think I played this at the right time. Super low stakes, low stress, cozy puzzler, pretty easy 100% type of game. Not much to say except, glad I played it. 26. Dead Island 2. Sometimes you need a mindless game. I ended up avoiding most side quests because they really only offered experience and weapons, and the zombies level up with you so XP isn't as rewarding, and you swap weapons so frequently anyway due to the enemies becoming damage sponges. But the effort put into the way zombies lose limbs and explode does give that visceral catharsis. And you get some more violent moves later that makes tearing through the zombies even more brutal. Overall, a good time. 25. Super Mario Strikers. I've put so many hours into this game in the past, replayed it again, still kicks ass. Another game best played with friends all screaming at the TV. Last second goals feel amazing. But have you tried slowly lobbing the ball for a score? Oh, I am still chasing that high. 24. Fire Emblem Warriors. Hey, another mindless game. I'm no expert in these warrior genre games. They all tend to all blend together to me. But I had fun going through the campaign, and man, there is a lot of extra battles you can do. I'm also not familiar with this era of Fire Emblem characters at all, but I found out Takumi was my favorite to play. So, not being that familiar with the genre or this era of characters and I still had a good time? Must be doing something right. 23, Donkey Kong Country. I've played this game so many times in my life. It's still fantastic. It's a staple of the Super Nintendo lineup. You don't need me to tell you, you know it's great. The music holds up, the challenge is there. Sure, it probably has some faults. Maybe the levels tend to blend together a bit, but this is a grade A platformer. 22, Final Fantasy 1. There is something special about this game to me. I think it's the fact that you get to choose the class they will be for the whole game, and you have to name them. It's such a small detail, but it's nice to know I'm going on a journey with my friends. Yeah, the plot is paper thin, but the first Final Fantasy is a king of old school RPGs. 21, Final Fantasy 3. Honestly, it's a toss-up with 3 and 1 at these spots. They are pretty similar in their execution. The final Crystal Tower is brutally long, but made a bit easier thanks to the Pixel Remaster saves. But being able to change jobs at any point just ekes it out past 1 for me. 20, Pac-Man World Repack. Why did nobody tell me how fun this game was? I bought it on a whim and ended up 100%ing the whole thing, which I recommend you do, as the levels can be super short otherwise. I think I was surprised at how much effort was put into the game. Pac-Man is iconic, and they could have easily farted out a game in a week, but instead they made levels and boss fights and new arcade-style mazes. This is such an underrated platformer. 19, Gunbrella. The movement in this game is kinda sick. You can launch yourself with your Gunbrella, which is needed to avoid or reflect bullets. It's pretty fast-paced. The boss fights are cool, and the story is this whole noir vibe with some funny lines. It's a short, snacky game that has a good aesthetic and worth your time. 18, Black Skylands. This doesn't run the best on Switch, but I am a sucker for Sky Pirates and twin-stick shooters. I love exploring all the different islands, looking for weapon upgrades, and the ground combat is quick and has that impact. The flying combat, on the other hand, a little clunky. I think most of my deaths came from my ship getting clipped to a wall and the enemies shooting my defenseless ass. Even the pirates felt like that was cheap. 17, Braid. You know when everyone says something is really, really good, and you think, well, there's no way. It's probably easier to just say you like it so people don't get mad at you, like Citizen Kane or the Beatles. Well, it turns out Braid is really, really good. The puzzles tend to have a "this is the solution, now figure out how to get there" mindset, which is my favorite type of puzzle. And I'm not going to spoil the ending, of course, but I thought it was a nice subversion on the save the princess plot. I've seen people roll their eyes and say, well, this is a pretentious game because it's so arty. And so what? Art is good. It allows us to discuss the perspective and exploration of human emotion and nature. Not that I would expect you troglodytes to understand. Now, if you excuse me, I must eat my organic quinoa from a bowl I paid $97 for, made by a gay Filipino woman ceramist. I'm better than you. 16, Katana Zero. Nothing beats that satisfying one-hit kill. Katana Zero almost feels like a puzzle game in itself, as you have to optimize and find the best route to kill every enemy in a room without being hit once. It feels amazing to hit bullets back at people, throw a bottle, and slash some poor unprepared dude, all while bumping to a soundtrack that grooves. Now I'm waiting for the DLC that I'm sure will come out any day now. 15, Super Mario 64. Come on now, this game is still amazing. I've played it too many times in my life. It's a comfort game at this point. Running around Bob-omb Battlefield still gives me the same wonder as the first time I did it all those years ago. No, I will not be taking off my rose-tinted glasses here. Yes, I'm sure there are things I don't like, 100 Coinstar, but all the good heavily outweighs the bad. Dire Dire Docks was the first song I learned to play on piano. I kinda like this game. 14, Grand Theft Auto 3. This was my first time playing this game, and it was on the remastered collection well after it was patched, and I have no frame of reference to the original. But that said, ooh, I had a good time with this. It's interesting to see how insane the world is. People driving erratically, NPCs fighting and shooting each other. It's a weird level of chaos that I couldn't tell if it was from glitches or from older game design. Either way, I was cracking up and loving it. The plot is stupid, as your character never speaks and just agrees to every mission, but honestly, I will choose the stupid, over-the-top fun fest instead of ultra-serious, humorless edge any day. 13. Ghostwire Tokyo. This game absorbed me. Normally I'm not into these type of open world games, but the spooky enemies and the rewards you get for exploring actually felt like they improved my character instead of some random fluff. Yeah, rescuing spirits or constantly doing the hand jive got a bit repetitive, but the overall gameplay loop had a nice impact and I genuinely enjoyed a bunch of the side missions. 12. Chrono Cross. This still has to be one of the most unique combat systems in a JRPG, where you have to decide how strong or weak your attack will be at the cost of accuracy and messing up a possible elemental setup. The last third of the game drags a bit, but the beginning and middle is so damn fantastic. The locations are gorgeous, you get a million characters to experiment with, and the cherry on top, the music is spectacular. I am looking forward to starting my new Game Plus. This game is timeless. Oh, come on! I didn't even mean to make a pun! 11. Turok Remastered. Just outside my top 10. I have very vague memories of playing this on the N64, but playing the remaster absolutely had me hooked. It's so fast-paced and arcadey. I love that you can end up doing the levels in all sorts of orders. The weapons still have great impact and sound. It's nice when you can tell a group of designers said, "What if we make a game fun?" And then everyone agreed. Except one guy who said, "Let's add loot boxes and a battle pass," and so they let a dinosaur eat him alive. 10. Xenoblade Chronicles X. After playing Xenoblade 1, 2, and 3, X is my least favorite. That being said, it's still damn good. X goes for more of a MMO feel. Lots of go here and kill or collect X amount of stuff. But what kept me playing was the amount of classes that you can swap between, and I got weirdly invested in many of the party's side stories. I also liked having a hub that I could always go back to. It's a small detail, but in this story of survival, the hub was a nice, physical representation of something worth fighting for. 9. Uncharted 3. I'm still pretty new to this franchise, and man did I have a good time with it. I've heard people recently complain that these games are the equivalent of popcorn movies, but guess what? I love popcorn, so this game can get stuck in my teeth anytime. It plays well, the set pieces are nice, and once I play 4, I will probably say the exact same thing, but maybe in better quality. 8. Blasphemous. Oh, I need more time to talk about this game. It's a Souls-like / Metroidvania, I guess, although only in that there is a big interconnected map and less to do with required power-ups in order to traverse it. This game lives and dies on how well you do in combat. For Souls-like, I didn't find it that hard, but that's fine. The bosses and characters in general I thought all looked incredible and are memorable. And a special shout out to the sound design. Now I know what guts sound like when they hit the floor. 7. Cyber Shadow. A banger of a retro style game. Fast-paced, awesome boss fights, all in a nice 8 to 10 hour experience. The special moves and extra weapons are cool and genuinely useful. The parry, oh god, the parry. You can stop projectiles and send them back at the enemy. This game nails how to feel powerful. 6. Hollow Knight Silksong. The long-awaited sequel. Although not for me since I played the first game last year. I still feel like I'm ruminating on this one. As of now, I think I like Hollow Knight more, but Silksong is still an incredibly designed game. I think my favorite thing about it though is that my playthrough was so different from my friends. A buddy would text me what I thought about an area, and it was someplace I completely missed. I asked them how they did on a certain boss, and they had no clue what I was talking about. I love that. This is the purest form of natural exploration. 5. Batman Arkham Asylum. Still a classic. I'm someone who back in the day believed Asylum was better than Arkham City, and although I need to replay City, I can say that Asylum, still fantastic. I love the more linear crafted design of it. I feel like I remember way more moments from Asylum, like Scarecrow or the party before the final fight. And I still love the combat combo system in that the better you do in combat, the more options you get. After beating the game, I went straight into the challenge modes. That is the sign of a good game to me, to want to keep playing even after you've beaten it. 4. XCOM 2. Turn-based games are my addiction, and XCOM ruined my life. If you allow yourself to play normally and not save scum, it is impressive how invested you can get in your characters. The stories I was making up in my head about my soldiers were so engaging, and the devastation of them dying because I failed to protect them racks me with guilt. I can still hear their screams. Medic! We need a medic now! I'm sorry, what was I saying? XCOM 2 is good. 3. Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. Donkey Kong Country 1 and 2 I hold very deeply. I've played them multiple times over the course of my life. Tropical Freeze surpasses them. This game has challenge, gorgeous music, the platforming is so tight and responsive. The levels are such a highlight. The levels in each world all tell a story and actually feel like a progression. I love that you have different Kongs with their own special mobility options. And I adore that you can replay every level again on challenge modes. This is a superbly crafted game that I cannot wait to continue to sink more and more time into. 2. Alan Wake 2. I could not stop thinking about this game after beating it. It's not a game I will necessarily go back to that frequently, but it left such an impact on me. It's awesome to see a game designer have a vision that is so weird and abstract and sticks to it. There are unconventional choices in here, like the spectacular Herald of Darkness scene. And this is the kind of story where I'm sure people will have long debates about the meanings of every little detail. But what did it for me was that I was genuinely tense throughout the entire playthrough. I was unnerved. The jump scares were just enough, and the overall execution truly messed with my head. It was the Saga Anderson scenes that hit me the most. Shout out to the actress who played Saga. Loved her performance. 1. Lies of P. Wow. Just wow. What a beautifully designed game. If you've played a Souls-like, you'll be familiar with the broad strokes, but it's the little changes that make this game shine for me. Normally in Souls games, I find one weapon and put all my stats in that, but here you are able to mix and match weapon and hilt to find a playstyle you like and change the weapon stats. This resulted in me trying out every weapon I came across. It's clearly a visually stunning game, and the music is so hauntingly beautiful that I instantly purchased the sheet music. The characters are also fascinating to me. I love learning about their lore and trying to figure out everyone's intent. Again, I don't want to spoil anything, but these bosses might be some of my favorite bosses in gaming, period. And I'm excited because I did not get the DLC yet, which means I get to do another playthrough. Yes! There you have it. That's all the games I beat in 2025. I've been keeping track of my games beaten since 2021, so I can always make videos on those too if you'd like. I would love to hear what you played this year, or what your thoughts are on my rankings. And if you want to hear my extended thoughts on a game, let me know. Thanks for watching, and here's to a happy 2026 of gaming.